Oh, it's going to be a funny night tonight. Welcome, everybody, to the Bagel Productions Pokemon Unite Showcase. I am Ajax, brought with my boy Last. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm having a great time. I saw that wipe transition, so my night is now infinitely better. We've got some Pokemon Unite action coming at you. New spectator mode has been released, but you know, Nintendo being a Nintendo, we actually aren't even going to get to be using it because it doesn't work in friendly lobbies.
Look, it's all about the tease, right? We're in beta. They just want us to like really want it, really look for it. The same way we never got it in VGC. We're not going to get it here either, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll make it work because we do have people giving us the live feed, such as the raid we just saw from TK Breezy coming in a minute ago.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic, and you know, TK is one of the I guess we'll call them the team captains of the two squads that are gonna be facing off tonight. We got a best of 5 show match coming at you, so you know, could be 3 games, could be 5, it could be 4. We have no idea, but I know for a fact we're gonna be seeing someone molding a Zapdos.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we were talking about it before, but the game doesn't really start until 8 minutes into the show, and you got to hold that sometimes. So the big key about this game is making sure you're winning on your dread fights, making sure you're building. Towers are important, but the problem is after 2 minutes are left, everything's double points. So you might not necessarily need to get all those early caps outside of just heavily pressuring somebody back into their own base.
Yeah, I was talking about this with a friend of mine. When we were talking about like general strats, and honestly, I was saying that I think it might be a legitimately viable strat to completely abandon top lane whenever Dreadnought pops and focus all in on Dreadnought. Because if you 5-stack Dreadnought on the other team, like they go, oh, free lane, let's take top lane, then you can quick kill Dreadnought, you win every team fight going forwards because you're all going to be like a level and a half above them.
Yeah, that's 100% the meta right now. Just like between all the climbing that we've been doing recently as well with some people have been doing it with, and we've noticed really quick the meta shift. And then you look at the high level teams, it's all about getting dread. You get like a level and a half off of it. You get bubbles for shields. You get to push, and you get to put. Usually you're capping bot for free at that point too. On that point, like it's not worth the fight. So you need to back off if you're the team that lost that. Start immediately regrouping and trying to farm, because otherwise you're just going to get outpaced for the rest, and you're never going to be prepared for that fight.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the biggest thing is I absolutely love it that the meta has progressed to that point, because previously, like before people knew that Dreadnought was like a must-have, they would like, you know, kind of let it be a thing. We didn't really have many guaranteed team fights until Zapdos popped. Like it wasn't a thing. It would usually be like the 3-on-3 in lane or the 2-on-2 in lane. Until Zapdos popped at the 2-minute mark, and then we would have our first big team fight of the game. But now that people have like recognized that Dread is such a big portion of getting ahead, now we get to see those team fights more often. Like sometimes you would see them at Rotom, sometimes you would see them at Dreadnought, but now people have just completely realized that Rotom's useless. Leave Rotom alone. Go for Dread.
Yeah, I'll take a trade on Rotom every single day. And a big thing too with what we're noticing now is that a lot of the times before you'd see a pretty wide range of variety with the team comps, but now you're seeing more of the single assassin, double range into support. Because when you don't go with the team comp like that, you're basically lining it up to your jungler not really having access to level 9 or their ult by the time you get the Dread fight. That is a huge loss if you don't have that there. So you're being forced to kind of hopefully you gain position first, which with everybody now working properly outside of an early dive, you're going to be looking at both of each other kind of scrambling and funneling in the wild grass around Dread and hoping you don't get knocked up by Dread as well in the middle of the fight, because that has cost people team fights before.
And I mean, the other big thing is I've legitimately on team comps that I've run, if I run that comp, I've actually been able to, because I play jungler, I play Zero, or I sometimes play Gengar. I've been able to get to you know what I'm about.
You are mean.
You know what I'm about,
well, I mean,
my man.
well, granted, Gengar ain't working right now, but it's all good.
You know what I'm about. So like usually what I try and do is I've actually legitimately gone to steal opposing jungle clears and left like I'll have my top lane or my bot lane. I'll go like, yo, y'all are on your own. I'm stealing enemy jungle. Then I'll rush to level 9 before first Dread. And then we can literally just like as soon as we get to Dread, I pop ult and we can clear Dread before the team fight even starts, and then they're just screwed.
Especially with good AoE based ones, kind of like the way that Zero works, or Gengar with obviously before the change, the hex spam that you'd get off of Sludge Bomb. But that's actually pretty good too, because one of the things that a lot of people like to do early is, hey, I'm at bot lane, a Corphish is up. You go ahead and take one of the Corphish so that way you can move yourself up at top. But with Dreadnought being so important now, it's kind of hard to give up those Corphish because you might be behind in levels, especially if you got ganked early on by like an out-of-position fight. So trying to know what you could give up for a feed or give up for levels for people is hard. But something like what you just said where, hey, let's get an early dive push. Let's force them to go grab berries, and then I'll sneak into their jungle real quick, grab their resources, and now we're that much better for position for Dread.
I also think the funniest thing in the universe as a jungler is being in the enemy side's jungle while I'm clearing it, and then their jungler comes in, and I'm like 2 levels higher than him, and I'm like,
you both just look at each other, and the Spider-Man meme comes up, just like, what are you doing here?
But the thing is, when he points at me, I'm 2 levels higher than him, so I just mop the floor with him, and then they don't even have their jungler for the Dread fight that comes up, and they're just extra screwed, and it's very, very funny.
True enough. Well, we're going to see about which people are going to be extra screwed tonight. We're going to talk about what names are on the list. On Team BMG, I believe that was Team Mastodon, Red Mastodon Trainers or something like that.
Team Red Mastodon Trainers.
Yes.
Which is an interesting name that they themselves selected. We're probably just going to call them BMG because, as you can probably guess from the channel this is on, they are a team comprised of a good chunk of the Brawlhalla devs. They're good friends of us, and they're going to be trying to throw down in some Pokemon Unite tonight. But why don't you give us the list?
So we got Photocon, which actually I kind of like that because it sounds a lot like Kodokan, which is a big Mortal Kombat fan. Slow Shula, TWK, Dolce, and Taza. That was so close to like Dolce and Gabbana, and I was about to rock with it, but they did not do it. And then on the other side of it, we have Team IDK, which is going to be with a couple names that we recognize, or at least me. We got TK Breezy, Double Dime, the Man Fats, goated. And I throw OW. I throw I don't know.
Just call him I throw. Just call him I throw. It's all good.
Throws. That we're gonna be looking at him during Zap fights, and then Rex. So I'm very curious to see what the team comps are going to be. Like we said, usually pretty standard. What you want is very solid assassin at jungle, somebody who can get in quickly, get in and out, dip and dive. We've been seeing more Machamp lately with jungle plays because of some buffs, but also submission. Literally just come here. It's just like Suplex City is so good. But then you got Absol, you still got Zero Aura, you still have Cinderace, which even with the nerfs didn't really change too much. But what are you thinking besides jungle? What are you looking at for people to be getting in the lane positions?
So honestly, we've been seeing a lot of Slowbro and a lot of Snorlax as the principal, the meta defenders in lane. I kind of want to see one of these teams pull out a Crustle. I want to see if someone can make Crustle work. Don't tussle with the Crustle. Don't tussle with the Crustle. Don't tussle with the Crustle. Because if you do, it actually does get kind of, dicey. It gets a little bit painful. It gets a little bit hard to deal with. At the higher levels of Crustle, especially if you build him right, that dude can do some damage. Of course, he doesn't have the AoE or the crowd control that either Slowbro or Snorlax do, so obviously a lot of people have been opting for those two defenders over him. But, maybe one of these two teams can make him work. Outside of our defenders, I can almost practically guarantee you we're going to see Pikachu and Alolan Ninetales. We could see something else coming out, but, like maybe the Gardevoir, but it's probably going to be Pikachu, Alolan, Ninetales. So
Pikachu, for me, in my opinion, has kind of fallen a little bit by the wayside because outside of the early CC is still really good, especially being paired with like a Snorlax, a top lane. That's a lane we've seen pretty common. I think Cinderace is still very strong right now. So having Cinderace on there, having that just extremely high damage, range support, regardless of the nerfs, he got the Powerball buff. He still does really well. He doesn't have to engage in fights. And speaking on the Crustle as well, we were talking about Snorlax with that block being able to move people off. That's going to be very huge. Occasionally with the on build, me personally, I think between Heavy Slam and Block, there's so much CC there. But with Crustle, you can also do something that most other defenders can't, and you have the ability to use Shell Smash, run in, use like a score shield, and just cap a late game score because you go so fast. That man just goes out of nowhere, and you just got to hold that on a late game cap, which could be really crucial within those 2 minutes while everybody's focused on Zapdos.
Yeah, and I mean that's why you don't tussle with the Crustle. But you
Hmm.
mentioned Machamp, and I think Ajax, you know what story I'm about to tell because you were there. It was like me, you, Skiff, and a couple others in a
Hmm.
5 star. I think Wadi might have been there too.
Wadi wasn't in that one.
No,
He
Wadi
actually
was in
left
the
before I got
following
there.
one. Yeah, he got there right after this one. So we were queuing. I think it was ranked, and we got
Hmm.
up against this Machamp dude, and this Machamp was jungling. Now, first of all, that was like the first sign that something was wrong was that there was an enemy Machamp in the jungle. But not only was this Machamp jungling, he somehow cleared his own jungle before I had even got. I was jungling on Zero Aura. He
Hmm.
cleared his own jungle before I even finished Ludicolo, and somehow got into our jungle and killed me for a jungle. And by that point, this Machamp was level 6, while the rest of us were still 3 and 4. So you already
Yep.
know this was going very wrong. And this pace continued for the rest of the match. By the end of the match, when it was about time for Zapdos to pop, we literally were getting 1v5 by this Machamp. He would show up in a team fight and wipe our entire team by himself. To this day, I still don't know how this man did it.
Look, Machamp is as close as the canonical as you could get when it comes to the trainers in the wild who just see you and run up on you like the eyes glare. It's like, yo,
Get
you're
over
mine.
here.
That's Machamp the entire time. When you're just walking through the grass, you think bot lane is completely okay, and then all of a sudden you see a red and a blue orb floating around underneath somebody's feet, and this man is running at you like this, and you're dead. That's it. You can't do anything about it. There's a lot of good potential for so many different compositions that we could see. I think even characters like Cramorant lately, that thing is just got he's just got
Cramorant
death
goes
between those eyes.
stupid.
He's ready like the big AOE ult that he has. It's really good for big game scrambles, especially during Dread.
Yeah, no, Cramorant goes dummy. I remember we were playing with Wadi. This is like that same session where everything happened during that
Mm-hmm.
session. We had like one game where we beat the other team like 1,000 to 77, and Wadi with Cramorant did almost 170,000 damage. Like if you can get
I
the
remember
right
that
the
photo.
right build with the right items and the right early game setup,
Mm-hmm.
Cramorant just like he just one shots dudes. It's kind of
Yep.
unfair at times.
And another character who basically is almost the support in an attack role, because we were talking about Lola Ninetales before, but even with the nerfs to the damage of, I believe it was Whirlpool, you still have control. They get stuck there. So be a very dangerous lane that you can run into as well as a Lola Ninetales paired with someone like Cramorant, which is something we've been seeing lately in things like bot lane, because it allows you to continuously poke at the opposing team, and especially if you see someone like a Ralts who's really hard to level early on with not a lot of damage output, that could basically allow you to stun lock them to the point where by the time you get to first dread or even just for your first dive, they're still Ralts while you're already working up to like level 6, and
Yeah.
there's not much they could do about it.
And Ralts is another character that goes up there alongside Ghastly when they're still in Ghastly form, where if you
Mm-hmm.
can gank them early and prevent them from, picking Audino, picking up like any of the jungle creatures, you can stifle their growth for the rest of the entire game, because there gets to
Mm-hmm.
be a point where they just like they can't do enough damage to level up. But that's where XP share comes into effect. Because,
True.
and excuse me, wow, I just stumbled over my own words, especially on Ralts where they're not a character that's good at jungle diving, even in those late game situations. XP share on Ralts I found to be so good at making sure that you can keep pace with the rest of the players, despite the fact that, like you said, you're kind of lackluster in your damage output. But once you get to Gardevoir, then you're cooking.
Yeah. Even with Curlia, with this, we've been seeing a lot more Side Strike over Future Sight, because Side Strike is when you get to move with a very heavy damage AOE, as well as something that's kind of being left out of the picture for a lot of these team comps is good objective killers,
Yeah.
because we've seen some buffs with recent characters like say Charizard. I am a huge Charizard fan. I want to play Charizard, but I haven't really been able to play him too much up to this point because he's been pretty lackluster. Now with the changes to things like Fire Blast, very similar to that of Side Strike, it's good for fights like your Dreadnought and even snagging Zap from people. But also, if people are just clustered up on a tower and they're trying to defend hard, that's free damage that's just melting people underneath them. So regardless of the shield protection, they're usually taking a lot in that fight that they didn't want. So maybe they don't get MVP, but they contribute heavy towards the team.
And I mean, before, like when this game first came out, everyone was like just starting to figure stuff out. I was playing Talonflame a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy
The
that
bird's the word now,
the
man.
bird
He's
is the
nuts
word now,
now.
man. The bird is the word now. I'm very happy that Talonflame got buffed, and I've been transferring over from playing a lot of Zero Aura and jungle to playing Talonflame a lot more
Mm-hmm.
recently. But the big thing is that with Talonflame, Fly is so good because you can very, very quickly disengage in high intensity situations and then
Mm-hmm.
immediately re-engage once you've created space between you and the opponent.
Yeah, and you steal a lot of different points where one, somebody might be just freely thinking they got away from a fight, and then boom, Fly came in. You think that the Dreadnought or the Rotom kill is secured, boom, they come in.
Fly,
Bees,
yeah.
early bees, it's just so important. And actually, there's a couple characters that kind of have a very similar aspect to that too, because we were talking about Talonflame. One of the characters that I still am very surprised didn't really get touched outside of a bug fix was Lucario. Power Up
Dude,
Punch. It gets
Lucario,
yeah, we were talking about
get that
submission.
character away.
Power Punch says no. I'm charging over here. What do you think you're doing? And he just goes through people and he just gets he finds easy snipes. So that's a character you have to worry about heavily as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's another one of those cases where I honestly really like the approach the devs are taking to Pokemon Unite, where they're like, "Why balance a game where you can make everything OP?"
Well,
It's like the
I like that though because I came from the world of like Mortal Kombat 9,
oh yeah,
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, old days of MMOs. I have been like if you're gonna make everybody broken, it makes it a bit fun. Not gonna lie.
dude, like that's the big thing. Like it's the syndrome from The Incredibles. Like when everyone's super,
Mm-hmm.
no one will be.
True.
And Pokemon Unite, they're taking the same approach, and I'm all about it, man. Like just make everyone busted and the game's balanced.
I am so upset with myself that I couldn't find a way to properly link in a syndrome reference there. But you know what? Either way, though, I did see somebody reference another character who got buffed too in the chat. Venusaur, another character who's really good at sniping stuff. Before the the timer necessary to get Solar Beam was too long and the damage output was not enough, so it wasn't a viable pick. Now Sludge Bomb is not only great for getting people off points, the slow is incredible, and Solar Beam is a very legitimate snipe target that can also steal objectives away. I know we've been kind of harping a lot on the objective thing tonight, but that's really
the whole
the
point
key.
of the game.
Like you must win Dread Fight 1, Dread Fight 2, try and win Bees first if you can. Good coordination with your jungler can make that secure unless you have a really good lane that doesn't need it. But it matters. It doesn't always matter to have the MVP attached to your name, regardless of everybody who wants it. Those people who go and farm and fights and completely disengage from everybody else and aren't there for the 5-stack when we need them at the freaking point for Zapdos, and you want to go and try and drop your 30 instead of dropping a 50. I'm sorry, that had nothing to do with everything that's going on. But
man, I know you've had some troubles trying to get to Master recently. It's okay.
Hey, I'm at Ultra 4 now. I'm like Ultra 4. We're almost there. We're almost there.
We'll get you to Master, bro. Like I'm still sitting down here. I'm still in great because I never play ranked. Like I have so much fun in like the 3v3 modes. I was vibing out down there.
You know what? I will say, even beyond all the other stuff with this game, right? As we wait to get ready with the matches, we continue to get set up. The things about this game, where normally I'd look at a gacha game and go, I get bored fast. I can't play a gacha game.
It is a gacha game, bro.
Yeah, it is. It's a gacha game, but you can play to earn everything. I haven't paid a single dollar on like earning stuff towards the items, but the quick play aspect, the standard aspect, you still get points towards it, and I think that's a big part of why we can't stop playing, because like yesterday I went from Ultra 3 dropped to Ultra 1 and I normally would have been done with how much I lost, and then I climbed back up to Ultra 4 because there's Pokemon in the game. It's 10-minute rounds instead of 50, and there's a bunch of stuff you earn while playing the game passively. And honestly, it's even though there's some things that could be changed as we continue with the lifespan of this game, it's been pretty impressive with how addicting it is.
Yeah, and I think that's actually like what they nailed so well in Pokemon Unite is they took the MOBA formula and then they made it not insufferable.
That's the best way to put it, to be honest.
Like me, I am one of the most avid League of Legends haters you will ever meet. Back in like 2012, 2013, one of my best thank you, Toast. Back in like 2012, 2013, one of my best friends was like Challenger level League of Legends. Like, he was ridiculously good. And he was like, please, man, just try out the game with me. I promise you'll have fun. I was like, I know you're a liar, but let's do it anyway. So we went in, like, I made my account. I played the bot games to start off. We were queuing together. And I just remember playing Garen top lane. And I spent like just 10 minutes fighting top lane. And I was just like this was back in the days of Skype, by the way. I was in the Skype call with him. I was like, is this over yet? How much longer is this going to last? Is this over? Like, the games just last too damn long. And that's why I love Pokemon Unite so much, because you can queue into a game. It's 10 minutes long and you're done. It's so much fun.
You just age checked me so hard because you were talking about, like you said, back in the days of Skype, and I'm just sitting here just thinking about, like, man, I used to raid on Ventrilo and TeamSpeak. But
yo, so let me go ahead and put this in perspective. I was, you know the game Rainbow Six Siege, right?
Yeah.
I was 13 when Rainbow Six Siege came out. And I was a diamond in that game for a while. Like, I had a lot of fun with Siege. I think I was also like, I made the tweet, last is baby, that is true. Where's the tweet that I made like 2 days ago? Yeah, so I made a tweet of like games that came out when I was 13, and let me list the 4 of them that I put in my tweet. Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and The Witcher 3 all came out when I was 13 years old.
I was around for Gen 1, so yeah. As a child.
I wasn't even born when Gen 1. My first Pokemon game, are you ready for this? My first Pokemon game was Platinum. Well,
I mean, you know, hey, that's a good starter.
It was a
really
great
good starter.
It's the reason I'm such a big Pokemon fan right now. But like, I played so much Platinum, and then my next Pokemon, because I actually think I was a little bit late for Platinum. The first Pokemon game that I got on release, I think, was Black. I think it was Black 2.
Yeah, another good game. I used to be such a, like, I didn't really like Gen 5 for a while, and then I played the second one, so I'm like, all right, I get it now. Easily my least favorite one is X and Y, because there's literally no post-game or anything to that game whatsoever. And I had to suffer through VGC with Mega Kangaskhan for a long time. So, dude, X and Y is no good for me.
I think X and Y, I don't know, I was like 11 or 12 when X and Y came out. I don't exactly remember, but that was when every kid goes through their phase of, I'm going to be a pro Pokemon player. And I spent like hours upon hours learning how to breed IVs. And I eventually got my team together, but with no research, right? Like, I didn't know what the meta teams were. I just bred a team that I thought was cool, all with
like no one ever was.
To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause.
We are literally not even a Pokemon Unite match tournament tonight. We are literally just fanboying over Pokemon stuff now.
Yeah, this has just become let's talk about Pokemon podcast. But anyway, I breeded my team, like all perfect IV team, but it wasn't even close to meta. I don't even remember what the team was. Went to my first tournament, and I don't think I killed a single Mon on my round 1 opponent. My dreams were thoroughly crushed that day. Well,
luckily in Pokemon Unite, you get to guarantee at least kill something, because if you don't, then you're doing it completely wrong. You get to kill the creeps, which are the wild Pokemon, to get your farms up. And I'm actually, speaking of the Pokemon, right? And chat, you can let us know, because I always love engaging with chat, trying to find out what you guys are looking forward to. We already know that there are Pokemon coming up like Blastoise, and a couple other ones who are like being rumored. I won't say anything based off of leaks and such, because I don't know if they're all true, but I know that things like rumored stuff like Blissey. What Pokemon do you want to see get into the game? I want Shuckle, just because of the reference that I can make for it, but the Pokemon I really want to see is Salamence, and my favorite evolution, which is Umbreon. Those are 2 ones that I want to see really bad.
What's I slowly disappear. Ajax, are you being consumed?
I'm evolving. We're going into evolution with the evolution phase here. We're shifting over.
Quick question, because Toast, I know you're listening in. Are we allowed to cuss? Can we say words on this stream?
I'm gonna keep it professional as much as possible.
We can. Don't fuck with the Shuckle.
What do you mean no Crocodile? Crocodile would be fantastic. I want to hear what y'all have to say. Those are 2 ones that I want. Not that I'm saying that there shouldn't be more. I think we're guaranteed to get Gourgeist on Halloween. It makes too much sense. And then Delibird either becomes a Pokemon at Christmas, or becomes an event Pokemon of some
Delibird
kind.
is definitely coming at Christmas. I think we're gonna get what's the Aegislash? I think we're gonna get Aegislash around Halloween, probably too.
Aegislash is oh my! I think I think it was my buddy Zoo who was saying that Aegislash makes sense as an all arounder because of the like form shifts. You could do like attack or defense.
Dude, form shift between attack and defense would be such a cool mechanic.
He's probably going to be broken, and I'm not looking forward to it.
It will be broken, absolutely. But it'll be such a cool mechanic. So, like, I want Aegislash, I want Shuckle, I want, I'll be honest, Crocodile will be cool.
Yep. Caesar is another. Caesar has to happen. That was a great addition to Pokken, and it should be another addition to here too. Especially because I can play a Scyther prior to Caesar. Like, goated. Oh.
Okay. Okay. All right. Could they hear you?
We're improving.
Toast, could they hear you there? Okay, so just quick update for chat while you're listening to me and Ajax podcast on through. We just got an update. All the teams are here. We have their feeds. They're in the lobby. We're waiting, but again, it is Nintendo, so it's not esports ready. Not even close. Nintendo, please.
Nintendo, please.
So the lobby is just like taking years and years and years to get going. But once we get going, we'll be into the match.
Sure enough, we'll be getting there soon enough. We can't wait. We're going to have a best of 5 between these two teams. It's going to be a showcase match where you can kind of see everything going on. Now, we don't get to use, unfortunately, the spectator mode because it's a little bit glitchy today, but we will be getting direct feed from 2 streamers from each side. I believe one of them is going to be TK Breezy. The other side, we are not sure of just yet.
I think it's Foda.
Who is it?
I think it's Photocon. I think Photocon is broadcasting his perspective from... I'd already forgotten the ridiculous team name that they gave us.
Team BG, the red Mastodon trainers.
Red Mastodon trainers, yeah. So yes. Foda is going to be our eyes and ears for the red Mastodon trainers, while TK Breezy will be our eyes and ears for team I don't know.
Yes, sir. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very interested to see the team comps. I'm not sure as to, this is a showcase match, so I don't know what the intense skill level is going to be between these two on how well they are in terms of controlling lanes. But we already know, we said it before, the fight don't begin until 2 minutes left on the clock. It's all about getting ready for that last part. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we're being informed that we have a pretty wide range of skill sets. Most of the players on Red Mastodon Trainer are around veteran rank, but it's more of a factor of time rather. They just I'm leaking it right now. I'm leaking their ranks. It's more of a factor of time that they just haven't had time to run it. And TK Breezy has solo queued to master. So I expect to see TK in the jungle, and I want to see him steamroll. It would be really funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be really funny. Looking forward to seeing how things go. When you say you cannot hear, can you not hear us?
No, they're talking about because I was putting my finger to the ear to listen.
All right. I just wanted to make sure because I'm seeing people. All right. So clarification: TK said ultra.
Ultra. Okay.
Around the same point. TK,
that's
we gotta
still
play sometime,
impressive.
bro.
That's still hella impressive, my guy. To solo queue to Ultra.
That's hard to do. I have been climbing with other people because I care about my psyche. I'm trying to keep my brain in order. So
I solo queued to expert, and I don't want to solo queue anymore.
It's at least I will say at least solo queue. It seems like more people are kind of understanding the win conditions. They're slowly starting to work towards it, but like not every time because when you got that one person who's still up top by themselves, just trying to fight for Rotom or drop 10 points on the goal while you guys are losing Dread, it can get a little bit. They could disappear, just like last.
Let's talk for a second about the solo queue experience, Ajax, because I've been solo queuing all day, and I'd love to talk about the solo queue experience.
So we have now turned into a ranked a ranked meeting where just like it's a vent meeting. I am the psychologist at the moment, or the therapist, and I would go to ease last through his pain.
So. Let me just go ahead and start this off by saying today I jungled with Snorlax. That's how bad solo queue has gotten. I jungled with Snorlax, and here's why. We started off, our pick phase, I picked Snorlax. We had a Pikachu, an Absol, Zero Aura, and I think the last one was Slowbro. Pikachu and Slowbro went bottom lane, like that was fine. I was expecting either Absol or Zero Aura to go jungle, and I would go top lane with the other, right? No, both of them went top lane together. I was like, huh?
And
But I
last,
jungled the Snorlax, and we won. So,
and last,
yeah,
how does that make you feel?
angry. Unbridled rage, if you would.
Is there anything that you could possibly do to not feel this anger? Let me tell you, I'm going to give you the advice. I'm going to give you the advice. I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Stop solo queuing. Just completely stop it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your mental capacity. Outside of being a content creator, which I know is why some of y'all got to be forced to do it.
Bro, we had a squad going. And all of y'all passed me. All of y'all left me in the dust when I couldn't play.
Hey man,
so
no,
I'm
no,
not
no, no,
eligible
no,
to
no,
queue
no,
with you
no,
anymore.
No. Somebody wasn't around for the groups. That's what happened.
Yeah,
I'd be up from like 10 o'clock all the way to like 5 o'clock in the morning, and
Bro,
I am always looking for people, and you are nowhere to be found. So that sounds like a you problem.
let me. It's not only am I full-time esports, being a TO, a commentator, and a broadcaster.
Yeah,
I'm also
at
a
3 o'clock in the
full-time
morning?
student, bro. I'm a full-time student. I got class.
True. He is indeed the child who is currently putting so much work through, but it's okay. We'll make it work for you. You made me crack up a little bit, reminding myself of the time that I was solo queuing and I was testing Mr. Mime, and everybody went the other directions.
Dude,
and then there was no one in the jungle. I had to jungle at Mr. Mime, and you know what? Guard swap confusion does too much damage. That's not a support. That's a DPS.
That's not a support character. Waddy on Mr. Mime, if any of y'all in chat, because I know this is mostly a Brawlhalla chat at this point. Waddy on Mr. Mime is just so scary, bro.
It's insane. It's insane. It's so crazy. Like he's sitting there like getting like 12, 13, 14 like kills on a regular basis, scoring more points than everyone else, and just guard swapping everybody to death, and it's just hilarious. Is Greninja busted? Greninja is very solid.
Yeah,
I think he does an incredible amount of damage in terms of late game. One of my things that I think is really good about Greninja, though, is that once he starts out leveling everybody, albeit his ult isn't that great, he does so much damage from range, and he has a safe disengage compared to like the Fate nerf that happened to Cinderace now. And that's why we're seeing a lot more Greninjas start to show up, because he's kind of filling the void that you saw from Cinderace. The only thing I think is bad is early game. That's why you should be putting him in the jungle, because laning with him, if you run into a Ninetales, he's probably not getting anywhere.
So, real quick, Fat, you must have missed the whole ass podcast that we had at the very beginning of this, where Ajax and I both went over what we thought meta was going to be in this game as it progressed. But real quick, since I know there's a lot of people who have been joining, let's break it down again.
Yeah, right? We'll run it back for you really quick.
We'll run it back. So, in my opinion, I think end game, not only at 2 minutes does Zapdos make the entire rest of the game mean nothing, but leading up to Zapdos, meta is Zapdos. You spelled Zapdos with an X, bro. Toast is messed up. But leading up to Zapdos, Dreadnought is the most important thing. I will absolutely give up top lane. I'll let them score top lane. I'll even let them wipe my zone top lane. I'll even give up Rotom top lane just to cap all 3 Dreadnoughts. Because if you come out ahead and cap all 3 Dreadnoughts in a 5-on-5 with your teammates, you'll be 3 levels higher than all your opponents, and every single team fight for the rest of the game is a joke.
Yep. 100%. The highest your order of priority goes as follows. You need to early game win first bees, and then after that win every Dreadnought. You need to control you need to control Dreadnought every time. If you are not rotating to bottom for a 5v5 fight for a Dreadnought, getting in position to put yourself in the grass before you actually do anything, you're screwed. But we actually have a match coming up now finally.
We got a game, man.
We're getting in the game. We're going to break down things more as the game progresses. You will be seeing it here. Now, I'm interested to see the team comp. So far, we're already seeing a couple people floating around what looks like Cinderace. We see a Snorlax. Eject button is going to be pretty much the go-to item a majority of the time. We're already seeing people with level 30 on the items, too. So we know some people got some deep pockets. But it's all about making sure you have good range damage gameplay. Yeah, no, this is we're still in the podcast mode. This is just we're just joking. But so far, for the looks of things, we're looking like we're seeing double range, jungle with Machamp, and the Snorlax, which is pretty much the comp we were mentioning before last.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I'm
jungle...
interested here is to see which one of these players is going to be jungling, because there's actually a couple of them that
it's
could.
the Machamp. You can see the
he's got I didn't see that he picked center. So it is going to be Tassa on the Machamp jungling, which we talked about it a little bit earlier. A Machamp that outpaces the other team is ridiculously scary.
And then the other team is pretty interesting. So one of the characters we did not mention with the buffs recently, who I'm pretty upset is really good now, is Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is a character who now has the same amount of health as we did not mention with the buffs recently, and is a really big issue to deal with. So much that Wigglytuff is bringing Missing No into the game. It's incredibly annoying to fight. Sing is a problem. Double Slap Stun is an issue now. But the thing that I'm a little worried about with the TK Breezy's team is that Garchomp, because if you don't get Garchomp to Garchomp by level 10 quickly, he is not a part of the game.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is between these two teams, early XP is going to be so important.
Absolutely, and now we're seeing. All right, so we're seeing very common top lane here. This is going to be Snorlax with Cinderace. You have the Snorlax, who's very easy at not only getting the double hits on Apom there, but you can also snag Corphish by positioning yourself on the opposite side, tackling in towards you, which he's going to do right there, and then you seal it off, and then you just go ahead and take the other one.
That's a maxed out muscle band right there, Ajax. Did you just see how much damage Tackle did at just level 3? But we got an early fight top lane here. We got Snorlax v Snorlax going down between Ithro and Because. And right now it seems that Ithro is actually coming out on top. Photocon kind of just pulling back. They don't really want to take this fight too badly, so they are just going to go back, cop a berry. But you saw that Pika Electro Web pop up there, and that could be a big threat in the early game, especially for a couple characters like Cinderace and Snorlax.
Yeah, and another thing too, speaking of that, the top lane that we're dealing with right now, here comes the Machamp, who's already level 5 with double buffs. You could possibly snag a submission here, looking for it on the Snorlax. Tries to get the closeout. Snorlax is going to die in the grass here. There's no way he gets out even with the rest, and that is a Gibble who is not going to be able to fight that, because even with those buffs, you don't get that. You get this free dive here. However, you should probably back out soon with that that Score Bunny, because even though you have a very good position, you now force bees and you get a free 2 kill at the top.
Yeah, but I mean, the biggest thing there is you even saw it at top lane that Photo was able to cop an extra kill before he had to retreat there. Now look at this bot lane. They use Wigglytuff, they use Sing to put Slosh down to sleep and then get a free score. TK's managed, I think that was like 17 points put up right then and there before they just back off for free. So,
and that was incredibly good early dive on their part too, because you saw what somebody was mentioning in chat. How do you deal with Ralts early? Exactly like that. You pressure Ralts back, you don't let Ralts get any farm, and now we're looking at a level 6 TK Breezy and a level 5 Zufats, and we're barely any time into this game already. And it was also not even a level 4 Ninetales as well, so you don't have the CC you're looking for to back them off.
Yeah, no, they've literally just got nothing that they can do. Like, they've got the level 5 Ralts right now, which could start being a threat soon. But did you just, like, TK's auto attack right there did, like, an eighth of Ralts' health bar because the defense is just so low. Yep. So if they fall asleep right here, Ralts might just die. It's actually going to be left stick tanking there.
I really like what Zufats did there too. After the Sing, you realize you can't get killed or on top of tower. They're going to get shields. You drop really quick the points because you do get experience from your points drops. And it helps out. I believe you also get a little bit of health in there too. So every bit counts. We're already going to be seeing TK Breezy at level 7 possibly before the Dreadnought fight.
Take a peek towards top on the map. They've already lost one score zone to the orange team.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, you're right. We kind of missed out on the top part there where, yeah, and nobody's rotated down to Dreadnought yet. This is very crucial because if you don't rotate the Dread, you're now looking at 2 people here. A Machoke running in to get ready to get a submission, and now possibly a KL pushback. But now we're starting to see everybody slowly rotate towards Dread. Nobody's in position proper for it. Because it is Aldinos, you can get a couple hits the wrong way, so you want to make sure you get those out of the way. But they stayed up top to go for Rotom, so they're going for score pressure. Hopefully this team doesn't lose out.
They picked up Rotom, and they still got Red Mastodon still has 2 players top lane. It looks like they might be starting to rotate down soon to pressure towards. But, oh, look, that Garchomp, or not quite a Garchomp yet, but was able to cap was able to cap it. So that's a level 9 Machamp on the side of Red Mastodon, and that's probably going to be a huge team fight here as one falls down already. Greninja goes away, and it still continues. Red Mastodon putting so much pressure on this first goal zone, and that's 2 goal zones destroyed already for the side of I don't know, and they're still getting pressured.
And that's 100% of the reason as to why, if you have lost Dreadnought, disengage off bot. Because unless you have a guaranteed 5-stack that can fight that with possibly an ult, unless they're all at half, you're not going to win that scrap. Because they're going to fully cap with those Dreadnought. Now they're pushing here on the point. Even with the ults, I don't know if Wigglytuff's getting out of this, but instead, they do get a bunch of kills there. They net 3, possibly looking for a little bit more pressure right here. They're going to go ahead and drop an extra 15. So even with how low everybody's health was, Wigglytuff coming in clutch, and I think maybe some buddy barriers that might have helped some people out too.
Yeah, that was absolutely a fantastic play there to be able to get the kind of reverse team wipe there in the second team fight. And because of that, they're not quite caught up yet. IDK is still a little bit behind going into this 5-minute mark, but they were at least able to cap that bottom goal zone, and now it's a little bit more of an easy fight. Now if they put some pressure top, maybe send TK top like they are looking to right now, and they can exert this pressure with the Wigglytuff plus the Garchomp, this could be a doable situation, but not if TK gets caught out alone before the rest of his team can show up. He is going to be able to escape, but that was very nearly disastrous.
Yeah, unfortunate for Team IDK, they didn't get the kill there on TK Breezy, but if they were able to, excuse me, actually, Team BMG, they weren't able to get him there. But one of the things that does work out, though, is now they push back Zufats, where they get Fats off of the point. They now get some more drops pre-Rotom Snatch. So if you can break this before Rotom goes up, that's even more pressure on base. Now you have another big fight right here. Everybody's relatively even level, surprisingly. I like that the fact that before we saw the Gabite be very behind, as now already Garchomp, it seems like everybody realized, get that farm, get back into place so we can actually fight for these objectives.
And I'm actually really interested in the fact that despite the fact that IDK lost out on Garchomp, or not Garchomp, on Dreadnought, they've actually still managed to outpace most of the side of Red Mastodon. You see TK at level 11, a couple other people like iThrow up at very high levels as well. So they're still able to put a lot of pressure on it. If you look over there, we still don't have a Gardevoir yet.
Yeah, and
it's a big struggle for them.
That is a huge loss of a fight for Team Mastodon. And now, even though he's sitting there continuing to dive on this, he's going to lose because he's continuing to put that pressure on. If I am on the side of IDK, they didn't end up doing it. I was gonna say start looking to move down towards Dread as soon as possible. But now we're seeing here that Team Mastodon has actually already navigated their way down, so they're gonna be looking to get possibly a free Dreadnought here.
And Team Mastodon actually has a really, really good setup right now, especially with Tassa on the Machamp, still outpacing most of the rest of the enemy team. But they got to get in here soon. It looks like Because is going to try and steal Dreadnought away. But this is a huge team fight. There's so much going on here.
Walked away with that, and it's
right center. But it's Tassa. Tassa finds the Dreadnought, and that's going to allow the rest of his team to retreat away with a huge advantage.
Disengage immediately now. Get out of there. Fats is going down 100%, even with the speed boost, because if he stays on that point. All right, we got 2 on the point, 3 coming in with the jump pad, trying to push them off. We have blocks on deck, and ult drop from Snorlax to try and get them to back off. That's a lot of damage. So they did avoid losing a lot of points there. But last, we are slowly approaching the point where the match actually matters.
Starts. Yeah. We're almost at the point where the game starts, so it is looking like it's going to be Foda and Tassa retreating back to base a little bit to try and heal up before the big team fight, but that's going to mean that these 2 players, the Gardevoir and the Snorlax, are going to be caught out all alone in a 2v4. Tries to pop the shield, but can't do anything about it, just completely outpaced in terms of damage. Leaves Gardevoir all on her lonesome, and well, they're just going to run away, and that's going to give IDK really, really early positioning towards Zapdos. This could be dangerous for them. Right now, I believe it is Red Mastodon heavily leading in terms of points, but like we both literally just said, the other 8 minutes don't matter. As long as you cap Zapdos, you win in this situation.
Already see that Team BMG has set themselves into position. They recognize that they have more points here. You do not cap Zap here. You go ahead and you fight for Zap. So you position yourself in Wild Grass to make sure that once you see that they have begun to engage, you snipe around. Now, one thing that could be annoying is these Crawdons for Cinderace can accidentally target. Now, if you are paying attention to where this fight is going, we already have an ult drop. That is Double Dime going down. We already have 2 people dead on the side of Team IDK. Zufats has to disengage. They have to reposition. There's only 3 seconds on the Snorlax, and I like the fact that 2 of them already look like they're going back. You saw the Machamp backing to base to get the health back to re-engage for this fight because there's still 1 minute and there's still plenty of time to cap Zap and possibly steal the game.
Yeah, there's so much time around here, but I love how they played that initial engage, especially with Tassa. Tassa did so well to get in early on and do so much damage to the rest of the team while still avoiding letting them anywhere near Zap. Like, I don't think any of the players from IDK have touched Zapdos yet. So they're just so patiently waiting. And now this is also a super scary situation because Foda has the opportunity to just kind of disengage and wait and then steal it away, but he's doing so much damage.
2 people down already, and that's going to be a jump on the Snorlax. And you already saw that nobody decided to go towards any of the points up top, so that's going to be 3 down already. That is a massive difference in potential to get the game back. There's only 30 seconds left. There's pretty much no way that they're going to kill Zap and get a fast enough cap. So outside of scoring some emergency points, if anybody has 50 or something to drop at that top point, this game is pretty much going to the to Red Mastodons.
Well, I mean, if you take a look up at the respawn timers, Garchomp is out for the rest of the game. They don't even have one of their biggest sources of tanking and damage. They've got nothing that they can do.
Right there,
and yeah, Snorlax scoring top lane, finishing that goal zone off is going to mean that Red Mastodon takes game number 1.
Very well.
Very well played.
Very, very well executed. Now, one of the things I think was a bit crucial that didn't work out too well for either team is that they spent too much time engaging on Rotom at top where they didn't reposition for Dread at bottom to try and get an early dive. Now, one thing that did work out kind of well for Team Mastodon is that they were able to steal a couple of those objectives when necessary, even though they weren't in the best position to begin with. And also, you know, they kind of kept Double Dime from getting to Garchomp fast enough to where he even could contribute to the fight.
Yeah, but I mean, the same thing kind of happened to Sloshula. He was... Oh, hello, wipe.
Oh.
Get out of my face. Get out of my face. He was kind of kept from Gardevoir for the vast majority of the game, but once he did reach Gardevoir, the rest of his team was already in such good position that they were able to capitalize on Gardevoir's new abilities. And then once Gardevoir came out, they were able to just stall so long in bot lane that top lane didn't really even matter anymore.
Mm-hmm. You know, actually, I think somebody might be right. I gotta get. It's a little bit disorienting trying to get used to the thing where they're both on the same side, so I've been getting some of the teams mixed up with it. But luckily, you know, even though they lost those Dreadnoughts, they were able to pull it out at the end there. I think a big part of it was the farming was better on the other side. I think Team IDK kind of engaged in a couple of fights where it might have been not necessary because, okay, so they did get one. All right, I was pretty sure that we saw at least one get sniped in there.
Yeah, but, so Team Red Mastodon did get one of the Dreadnoughts. I believe it was the latest Dreadnought. But the big thing is that I think while the Dreadnought fights were happening, Team Red Mastodon didn't actually dedicate a ton of, we'll call it resources, towards those Dreadnought fights. Like, they fought them, but they actually, I believe we didn't get to see it because, you know, spectator client, but I think Tassa might have been in enemy jungle the whole time, capping all of their resources, because even after Dreadnought, Tassa very thoroughly outpaced the entire enemy team. So the very few times when he showed up on a gank, he just insta-killed a couple of people, and they just didn't have a way to deal with it.
TK, what are you doing, dude? How yo, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you already know Smash Commentators, we got lots of money, right? Like, go ahead, drop them some money, get them the items, get them the flash, bro. But so that's actually pretty big news to drop to people too. The fact that there are 2 people on that team who don't even have
they kept that pretty close. They kept that pretty close for a couple of people who are brand new, but. You know, yeah, like Ajax, you're a Smash commentator. I'm a Smash commentator.
Gentlemen, no
TK,
items.
like, yeah, we FD too. We're going to FD.
Jake. As we come into the next game here, I'm curious to see what the team comp is going to be to running it back here. If I'm Team BMG, I'm definitely running it with the same comp. We were saying before with 2 supports, I always forget that Ninetales isn't actually a support, they're an attacker, but they basically act as a support. So you essentially have the 2 here. On the other side, we're going to be seeing a slight change up possibly from Double Dime. Double Dime is not currently on top of Garchomp. TK Breezy is floating around the potential of going with Machamp possibly here. So it looks like you're going to be seeing a mirror match of Machamps in the jungle. You're going to be having a lot of, you're going to be having a lot of snipes coming in with those submissions. And it looks like you're going to be getting double tanks, which we did say before, especially Slowbro and Snorlax are very good at CC and consistently winning those big team fights.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing here is I just want to see, like, the 2 big dudes punching each other in the face in jungle.
I'm actually looking forward to. I hope we catch that on one of the fights there. And now with TK Breezy going to the jungle, as a matter of fact,
yeah, we'll actually we'll get a perspective on jungle real quick because TK Breezy is our eyes and ears for the side of IDK.
I'm telling you, man, dude, Missing No is trying to get in the game right now. Get me my 172 level Raticate or right now. And give me unlimited items. I actually kind of like the composition being pretty similar. Probably going to be top lane Pikachu Snorlax again. For the looks of things, we're going to be seeing Slowbro Cinderace at bot maybe for that team. But we'll see how they decide to change things up. I think both of those comps are very good for controlling lane.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is just going to be if one of these teams can very quickly get ahead on a lane. God, I hate how fast tackle kills with muscles.
It's always so funny to me watching Machop running around. Looks like he's just like on a rush to get to work at all times. Just like
around at the speed of sound.
Got places to go, gotta follow. Snorlax!
Oh, we got an early fight in the top lane, but Foda and Because are just going to back off pretty quickly. Don't want to lose out early on. And, well, they took game number 1, so they got a lot of space to work with, really. Now we take a peek over towards TK. He's about halfway through his jungle clear, already at level 4. And yeah, gonna pop those buffs, go for the big hits, and take down those Crawdonts.
Yeah, he's gonna end up getting level 5 here off the second Crawdont, which automatically puts submission on a live ammunition. So you have to make sure that you're watching out for it at all times. And you can see here that there's a lot of good early game pressure coming in, but we're looking like we're gonna be seeing a very similar double up. We already got a 3v3 fight. Here comes in with a submission. Can we get an early kill on either team? TK Breezy is already going to go down, and they can take out the Snorlax here, and that means that we have a 3-on-1 fight on Pikachu, but never mind, the Machoke is still alive. I thought that TK had died in that exchange, so that actually works out because I definitely expected them to get an early dive there and get the bees for free.
Yeah, so no, TK comes back in. I believe he used eject button to get out of dodge, came back in, capped that Snorlax. So it's still actually even. They just traded out back and forth Snorlax for Snorlax and then disengage. Neither team has really gotten themselves too much of an advantage, but at least right now, TK is looking a little bit iffy in the health department. So if he and Tassa meet here in the jungle, it'll definitely be Tassa coming out on top, but at least for now, it looks like they're separating from each other.
Yeah, some good bravery on TK to recognize, what, Tassa may be on the right-hand side, but maybe he didn't see me, or possibly, he's not going to bother to engage with me here, so I can get my damage up, and he still has submission to run away from him, too, so they're going to end up evening out on the distance. But here goes a free 30 drop coming in at the top from Foda, recognizing that they fell asleep at the wheel, and they went to go farm, and unfortunately, that's going to be a lot of free points, including another 5 drop, already getting there on that point, and now they're already fighting again last.
I mean, look right here. You can see that they've also been outpaced in the top lane. We got a 6 and a 5 versus a 5 and a 4. So it's an unfortunate situation for the side of IDK in the top lane. They're definitely going to need a little bit of help from TK, that jungler, to come in and give them a little bit of a fighting chance in jungle in top lane because he is level 7, but it looks like instead he is going to be directing his attention down towards bot because we are 18 seconds away from that 7-minute mark where the first dread will pop. So TK going to be trying to get himself buffed up as much as possible.
You can see like TK running the brand new buffed close combat. It's very good for crit strikes. It's very good for netting damage, especially on big scramble fights between what could be another dive attempt right here to possibly get a to get a gank. But we see that Curly is kind of hiding out in the grass. They're trying to like wait for position to be moved forward, but TK is properly placed. You want to hold this grass spot so you can possibly catch a snipe just like that, and you're gonna get a kill possibly even with the flash out. That is another character gone. So that is already a Curly down. It is only a 3-second spawn timer, but They already took a lot of damage here, and that is going to be an early kill on the Slowbro as well. So even with that nice early pressure, unfortunately for Team IDK, they're not going to get positioned for Dread.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing here is that not only do Team Red Mastodon win the fight bot for positioning at Dread, they also won top. They got the kills top lane, so they had to wait for those respawn timers, and then they still capped Rotom. Now Foda has the opportunity to either clear out enemy jungle or head bot and still win Dreadnought. Either way, it's definitely been Red Mastodon that's come out on top in this fight. We see the fight at Dread, though. It got stolen! They still lost it!
Yeah, no, we had to switch up here to TK's side, so it was actually, TK's team, IDK, ended up losing out once again. So not only did Red Mastodon get access to the top lane there, but they also, that was a perfectly executed aggro flash there. You use that to close the gap, you prevent him from getting away, and now they get the dive here on bot because they have the shields up, and we are already seeing what is a much more dominant early start here from them compared to the last game.
This has just been a stomp so far, Ajax. They not only got Rotom top lane, they not only got Dreadnought bot lane, but they also got the full team wipe to cap both top and bot goal zones. So we're not even at the 5-minute mark yet. I don't think Red Mastodon's been touched yet in terms of goals, and the other side has already lost 2. So now we're going to be having a big old team fight here at the second top goal, and they're just going to be able to score the rest of their points for free. If TK dies here, Foda scores 40 and they're screwed. No,
this is a fight they lose every single time, man. Look at that level difference. Even on the point, you still get free damage off of that almost every single time because you get to come in, and even though TK Breezy got one right there, you chase him down. Actually, no, he did get away with that. Never mind. So they're going to drop and possibly break this here on the point. So that's pretty good recovery considering how badly that fight went a second ago. But they're getting heavily outpaced in levels, but it looks like they've actually been able to start to slowly farm back. So, you know, the Zapdos fight and possibly second Dread fight here actually aren't looking as bad as I thought about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit dire, but they've gotten their feet underneath them, right? Like they're looking like they have a genuine chance of just like grabbing this back despite the poor start. They managed to cap top goal zone. Bot's still not looking great, but if they can get in here, like if they grab Dreadnought again, like they're in good shape. But oh no, Tassa is running riot. You can see a KO streak of 3 from Tassa.
That was 100%. The ult went off. This man got them lined up. You never funnel directly in front of Machamp because the crits will happen and you explode.
Yeah, bro, stay the hell away from Tassa because he literally just wiped out an entire team, and now he very well might escape with his life intact. Yeah, he does. And in the process of getting away, they're going to cap Rotom.
This is incredible. What an incredible lineup they had for everybody, pushing them, engaging in that jungle fight, deciding that they're going to just scrap out, and then you go and line up directly in front of them. But now they do stop Rotom. They're going to be heavily pushing towards Dreadnought, depending on if we see Team Mastodon already there, they might possibly just take Dread uncontested.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say, yeah, they're already on here as we get the wipe transition down here. TK and Co are barreling their way in, but they might be
Does he get the close combat? No, he just missed it. If he went for close combat or something there, if he could have possibly got in, but he was already in submission animation, so he couldn't get the steal. That would have been such a good steal if TK caught that.
TK was so damn close to making it in time, maybe, you know, with a little bit of X speed. Could have done it, but I respect the attempt. Not going to work out, though, so that is just going to let... actually, no. They scored off of losing Dreadnought. Interesting.
Hey, you know what? So I'm actually kind of surprised by that, but we're already going to be seeing some lives explode here as we see Foda with a level 12 about to go to 13, so that makes the Feint, even with Feint in Blaze Kick getting nerfed, you can see how good they still are. Cinderace is still very much a viable team pick, which you should probably have on your teams almost at all times. And it's so well executed. As you can see, chat, we're currently dealing with the fact that we have to constantly go to the same perspectives on each time because we don't have spectator. But last, we do get to spectate the last portion of the game that matters the most as we get ready here.
4 seconds, man, until the game starts actually mattering, right? Zapdos is here, but it looks like at least right now, TK Breezy and co are just rushing on into this second goal zone. TK is going to lose his life, though, and with a 20-second respawn timer at this point, that's actually going to be pretty painful. They still get the goal cap, though, so that evens it up in terms of score a little bit.
Yeah,
but it looks like Foda and co are just going to cap their enemy side's jungle and then just guard.
Yeah, it was actually the opposite way around. It was actually TK running away, trying to get out of that, and Team Mastodon pushed in and capped that point. I know there's another just slight mix up with the cameras there, but
dang,
they got in, they pushed, and now because they pushed for that, they found the execution they needed. They no longer need to potentially guess, since we can't see the scores, unfortunately. If Zap is necessary. That is exactly what you do, though. You wait for the Cinderace to blow the feint, and then you execute the submission, and now you pop off, you start putting in big swings. This fight matters so much, but that is already 3 people down on Team IDK, so they can't fight here already with 50 seconds left. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it.
They got wiped by Gardevoir in the team fight right there because they let Gardevoir get too buffed too quickly, and TK did his best in the 1-on-4, but he just wasn't able to do it. Now everyone's back up, back alive, so they're going to try for it again, try for that 40-second zap. TK comes in with the submission, pulls close combat, but he's going to have to retreat off. He does pick up 2 kills alongside the Pikachu on his squad, though. This actually isn't looking bad. They're almost up for the team wipe if they can get Zap in time.
You don't go for Zap, you don't go for Zap at this point. You run, you score. You run, you score. You have points, drop them, because you need to break everything that's potentially there. Because if you go for Zap, you only have maybe 10 seconds, and after 5 seconds go off, you can't.
No, they're going for Zap, bro.
All right, I don't know if they're gonna make it, though. That's the thing. You only have within 5 seconds. You can't activate the actual score animation. They have to go so fast, and I don't think they're gonna get it.
4, 3. No, they're too little, too late, baby.
Yeah, see,
time's up. Yeah,
I don't think that counted. I don't think. Yeah, that's the thing. So, chat, this is something to. This is some knowledge you just saw here as it happened. Unfortunately, this is the way it works. Within the last 5 seconds or 4 seconds, one or the other, it doesn't actually count the score. It doesn't count the score after that. TK Breezy, you can't. It doesn't count after 4 or 5 seconds. So after.
So TK, my man, we all saw you dunk. But, like, that's a known thing in this game, is if you dunk in the last 5 seconds, it don't count. And that's the shitty part, man.
Yep, you can't score, unfortunately, within that range. So once you get to that point, you win that team fight, you immediately rush to any score, because they got 30 seconds usually on the timer. Everybody's about level 14 or 15 at that point, and they're going to take forever. They're out of the game. So you go score, and you get your points in. And this is why things like Goal Getter have been very important on things like Crustle lately with Shell Smash, to cap that last 100 at the end. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah. So like that, like Ajax was saying, like TK, in that situation, don't go for Zapdos. Y'all won the team fight. You were in good position. If you had, instead of going for Zapdos and capping that, if you had run and gone for Goal Zone and scored all the points y'all had built up, you actually had a solid chance of winning that. But instead, you got beat by the game's poor programming. So I guess you just got to hold that.
That does suck, man, because if you, especially with the double points, if you drop about maybe 240 bombs off a couple people, it could get you that much closer with how close the game was. I know I think I saw at least one person down there with at least 40 points. So that could have been 80 like and probably 50. Taken the game. It does suck. It is what it is with the game, though. Unfortunately, I kind of find that annoying that Zap doesn't allow you to insta-cap goal within that 5, because it's programmed because the animation takes at least 4 seconds and it doesn't count it on the last, which I think is stupid, because buzzer beaters are hype. So
imagine if TK had actually capped that buzzer beater and they won, because that would have been hype as shit. But
they would have
game
one
sucks,
too. They would have one too. That he had that was there.
TK won, but not according to the score.
Yeah, that Nintendo, please.
Also, Nintendo, I'm loving these silent movie captions that we're getting every couple of seconds.
Yeah, we have literally been, we took a dip back in time. Now, also Nintendo, I always gotta drop this every single time. We have Hollowware in this game, right? Hollowware, it's a form of DLC skins, right? It's an alternative costumes, which looks and nets a lot of money for Pokemon, right? Imagine if that was the Smash Ultimate thing. I'm just saying we should probably do it. But here in Pokemon Unite, we're gonna have a lot of fun costumes. I can't wait to see more of them, and I can't wait to see what TK does to run it back after that. Wait, what?
Oh,
It's a 3-0, bro.
Oh.
What do you mean?
I don't know what
Did
you
we
mean
miss a
by
game?
that.
Did we miss a game? We only saw 2. I ain't seen all 3. Did you guys play a game where we didn't notice? I want to hear that. Where's it at?
I ain't see shit.
I ain't seen no game 3. I want to see another game. All right, here we go.
Now we're running. Okay. Okay. I thought for a second like TK was FFing, but like I know he ain't about that, man.
Okay. He's just saying that this is going to be like a 30 and a shake, like a 3-0 and a handshake. Now, on the other side here, it looks like TK Breezy is hovering over Charizard. Man. And Fats is hovering over. All right, so we see Fats is committed to the Eldegoss, which, albeit, definitely got some, some very necessary changes. There's only 4 seconds left on the timer, so it looks like we're going to be seeing TK Breezy fully commit to the Charizard. Man of culture, as we see the Charizard show up, as well as the Venusaur, which is no longer a meme pick. That is a very viable strat to go for Venusaur right now. I'm curious to see if we're going to see Jungle Zard, because that's what makes the most sense here on this team.
Nah, we talked about Jungle Lax earlier. That's what we're seeing. I thought I was going Jungle with the Snorlax. No, I think we definitely could be seeing TK Jungle again with the Jungle Zard. But I do like Zufats pulling out the Eldegoss. Eldegoss is a really good choice in this team comp because you've got like 3-4 really heavy hitters. So I don't know if you really count Snorlax as a heavy hitter. It depends on how you set him up.
He's heavy and he hits.
is. He is a heavy and he hits. He
has a move called Heavy Slam. So okay. All right, we get into game number 1 here. Game number 3 could be the end of Team IDK's run in this potential best of 5. Same lane, same control. We did see that the Ralts was a little bit slow to start before, but once they started pushing and getting that Dread Fight, things were kind of cruising from there. So I'm curious to see if they have any changes. They've lost Corphish on the first one every single time so far. It looks like they're going to lose it again.
Yeah, but like Team Mastodon is
and they sniped the A-Palm too.
No,
that's already really good early farm control. Foda has just been toying with the early farms on these so far, and that is incredible because now they're already 4-3.
Name a game that Foda isn't good at, man. You can't. Now trying to chase down iThrow. Gets the couple hits in, but like they're being very smart about not aggressing. Foda's already outpaced them. Managed to steal the first crab, managed to steal even one of their A-Palms. So they really don't want to challenge Foda here in top lane. And you can see, like, they know they're confident here. TK, though, coming on in. They might have misread this because we got a 3-stack bot lane and a 3-stack top lane.
Yeah, this is actually going to work out pretty well. You see TK already pushing. I'm surprised TK went with Flamethrower. I don't know if that was intentional or not because Fire Punch is so good for CC. But now, because of the fact that he doesn't have Fire Punch, he basically can't contest that Machoke if he decides to push on him. Both of them kind of checking each other. That's already Karate Chop wasted. But I like the fact that TK disengaged and he's going to be working towards bot just to get the farm instead.
Yeah, TK definitely does not want, especially like you said, without the Fire Punch. Ooh, we got the pit, baby.
Ooh.
But especially without the Fire Punch, you're right. He does not want to be challenging that Machoke in a one-on-one. That's just not gonna work. So very, very smart of him to just continue fighting the crabs, retreat a little bit back. And now they're just all kind of resetting, but we got a little bit of a fight brewing down in bot lane. Looks like a 3-on-2 at least for now.
Yeah, and also you can see down in bot lane that both the Ralts and the Bulbasaur are currently still just that. They are still both at level 4, so they're kind of, it might be a very even trade on farm between the Bees and between the Audinos. So everything seems to be working pretty well. We're gonna see that TK is gonna be moving away back towards the top as well as the Machoke on the other side, so we could be looking at another 3v3 pretty soon here. We have a level 7 coming in, trying to get an easy submission. He's going to snag the Snorlax, but there's nobody in position to be able to capitalize on it. And that could have been a free kill, but because they were getting a bit pushed back by the Pikachu, they had to back off.
It is a little bit of a tough situation, but now we take a peek back towards top lane. We see TK coming in again, and I think, honestly, this is a really big detriment to the side of IDK. We've seen TK have to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on the top lane just because of how fast Foda has been outpacing the rest of top lane. So they're having to spend so much time, their jungler is having to spend so much time looking top, when instead it's just giving Tasa almost free reign to run riot bot lane. But now TK comes storming in, and this could be a wipe. This could be a triple kill. That was actually
an excellent shot by TK. I was talking about how Flamethrower doesn't really work as well as Fire Punch, but where it does work. One of the things we said early with the buff changes was Fire Blast coupled with something like Flamethrower or Fire Punch nets so much damage. And you can see top lane right there, Foda and company are looking to get Rotom once again. They're pretty much confident that they can always win Dread. But now that Fire Blast is there, and we're going to see a level 9 Zard with ult available, this could be Team IDK possibly netting a free. As we see 5 people come in, you drop Fire Blast on that, you immediately start targeting that Curlia and the Ninetales to back them off, and you get Dreadnought for free there. That was an excellent seismic toss, and now they get a free dive on the bottom point.
This has been an absolutely insane streak, and it's been mostly due to TK. TK has been playing this last game absolutely insane, and now they just all cap right then and there. They still got a couple more points if they so choose to go head towards the top lane, and it's Team Red Mastodon on the back foot thanks to a great series of moves. TK came in from top lane with an insane gank, and then from there, they just managed to just be completely uncontested on the point of Dreadnought.
That's a free 40 drop possibly from TK. Bomb. That's a 40 coming in right there, and now they get to put pressure on them. They have a 3 fight going on up top. You can see everybody trying to navigate their way. The block is going to stun them back a little bit on their point, and now you get some heals, but there's no way that Snorlax survives that. That's easily breaking that point, and now there is no berries, so there's no berries available to contest for Rotom anymore on either side on top.
Yeah, no, this has just been a little bit of a scramble situation, but team, I can't keep saying Red Mastodon. The BMG team has been kind of wiggling their way back in, and now it's like almost fully even. I think this really is just going to come down to a big team fight at Zapdos. Like, early game from the BMG team was fantastic. Late game from TK's squad has also been fantastic. And yeah, even there, we're seeing attention. It's a close battle, man.
This has been insane, and also Foda has ult available. So what they're gonna do here is they're gonna go and try and put points on this cap if they can, and break this or get it that much closer that way they can either A, get Rotom to go in and break it itself, or B, save that for a free easy break when it comes to the last 2 minutes to possibly score points. But this is as even as we've had all night, and it looks like Team BMG is sending the same 3 down to the bottom as they keep these 2 up top. They've been pretty consistent in terms of trying to focus down on getting that Rotom and having a 3-piece available at Dread.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the biggest differences that we can point to between these two squads is that TK's squad, Team IDK, has been more than willing to just kind of 5-stack it up and go for things like this Dreadnought. Meanwhile, the BMG squad has just been very, very rigid in how they're playing their lanes, how they're playing the jungle too. But it's looking like another free Dread cap and maybe a couple extra kills in the process. They get the pop. And wait, how did Eldegoss get back there?
Honestly, that's just occasionally find yourself in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But that was so well played by TK once again, because even if you don't get a kill, you don't do anything with your ult there. You did because you found the seismic toss, but you pressured them. You force them away, you're level 12. They can't contest you, and you get Dread for free there. That was excellently placed pressure from TK in that position to allow them to net that. And now look at this. They're heavily backing off to try and block any points so they can farm and make sure that they're ready for not only when Rotom comes up for another cycle, because they're already in position for it, but now that they're farming, they're actually going to be in a position to possibly get some point drops at the last 2 minutes, because I don't think we're going to see a Zap fight off the rip. I think at least one person is going to try and steal 50.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we're going to see here is both teams just kind of like positioning at Zapdos, edging towards Zapdos, but not actually fighting Zapdos. Hang on, how is Slosholo this
You're in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Ninetales is as well.
Y'all absolutely in the wrong place at the wrong time. TK out-levels them by 3, so he's going to be able to scoop them. And take a look at the levels. The only person who's really on pace with most of the side of Team IDK is Tassa. So this is going to be a tough team fight for them.
Yeah, and now that Snorlax is cooking right on top of that Fire Blast, as you already saw, but Champ did ult, and that's a good ult from Snorlax as well. That actually stunned and stopped them, so even though there's no fight to be won, you can disengage. There's no time available whatsoever to kill a Dreadnought here, or a Rotom, unless somebody speed runs it up top. You have to get your points up, you start positioning to prevent anybody from stealing a point, because this is a lot of 50s on the board, and the first person to do it forces the other team to have to possibly fight for Zap or immediately dip. They are in fact actually going to speedrun that, but they missed out. They didn't have the time, and now there is no position for Zap. I am curious to see if Team IDK noticed this and if they're going to try and steal a point.
No, sir, they're not. They're not positioned for it, at least not right now. They could be heading, I think they're heading towards the bot goal right now, but they've given up complete and total positioning on Zap. This is just going to be held down by Team Red Mastodon.
Oh, they're
and that's
coming
where
in
things
from
get
the other
dangerous.
side.
Now they're coming in. Here comes the team fight, and let's get this started, Ajax, because this is going to decide if we see a game 4.
Yeah, this is going to be so important. We already see 3/4 health on the Snorlax. He's coming in. He's got the heal on him, but he's going to go down possibly here in the scramble. There's already a block up. There is a ult already popped. That is one character down. That's the Machamp. That is huge. Now they get the seismic toss on the Gardevoir, and the Ninetales is going to go down here too. That is almost a team wipe. Only the Cinderace is left. That means that they can not only just push straight for goals. I do not agree with getting the Zapdos here at this point because the Cinderace is still there. Even with block up, the Cinderace can drop a Pyro Ball through.
Steal this.
You need to kill Foda before he takes that away from you. And he did! He did! Don't leave Cinderace alone at the top, and that's going to cost Team IDK. That's why I said I don't agree with that, because of the fact that Cinderace can snipe that kill, and that is going to net the 3-0 victory for BMG here.
Dude, both of us were saying it like, please, kill Foda. Please, kill Foda. But they just could not capitalize on it. And despite the fact that they won that team fight almost in its entirety,
he's dribbling the ball at him!
He's styling on them, man. Foda sniped away Zapdos, and now he's got not a care in the world. They're going to cap both goal zones. They don't even care. They've won. It's all over.
They don't even get the kill on him there either. He gets the back after all that. What? Wait. That's a 50 coming. Oh, wait, no. They got too many points off Zap. Never mind. I was going to say that. I forgot. Zap pretty much won the game. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not engage with Zapdos if you are very close on points and there is a potential thief lurking directly above you and you let him rock. And Cinderace is always there to capitalize on the big goal at the end of the game. The Soccer Rabbit will always be there to go ahead and get that dub. That is a 3-0 victory coming in from Team BMG over Team IDK.
I think we got to say it, man. The absolute MVP for that series has to be Fotocon. It was looking like it might have been a game 4 setup for the side of Team IDK. And then they forgot that little thorn in their side named Fotocon. He got the big old snipe on Zapdos and just, slammed the door shut on any potential victory there. So unfortunate, but what a great play from Foda.
100%. There's a lot of things you can go back and navigate throughout that game, right? You recognize the positioning that even with the 5 dive that we saw at the end of Team IDK, they were finally able to punish them for doing the 3 and 2 split and then coming in later. The positioning got better for Team IDK as we went. You can see right here, this game was incredibly close, but because of the fact that Team IDK didn't have the point pressure, they assumed that they had to go for that there. But what you can do in that position is go score, possibly getting, you could probably get your potentially a early score with those 50-point drops that'll get you an extra 100. Y'all literally gave me two people who don't play. We running this back in my Smash Peeps. That's what I'm talking about. I want to see that. I can't wait to see that happen.
I thought that's what was going to happen in the first place, to be honest with you. Like, I don't even know. Run it back.
Emergency best of 5. Oh, wait, no. We already did that. Best of 7.
Best of 7.
I can't wait. Also, a couple other things last we saw. Positioning on Zapdos fights wasn't necessarily the best. There was a couple spots where we saw, and this is on both teams, by the way. We saw a couple times where people were funneling too heavily at one point, and then one single person would jump pad in, and that one person would get caught in the grass because they decided to go towards where bot was, and that can net you a couple KOs on the other side. As we saw TK mauling through everybody with that Charizard and that last fight, that almost cost them the game. But because of the fact that Foda was kind of lurking around still, it ended up working out.
Yeah, and especially in that last game, you're talking about positioning. We have to give it up for TK specifically. Being able to come through in the jungle and gank so efficiently with Charizard like he did over and over, very nearly just completely destroyed Team Red Mastodon. But then the unfortunate situation is Zapdos happened. It is what it is. Congratulations to Team Red Mastodon for being... Can we call this the first ever Pokemon Unite Best of 5? It might be.
I don't know if it is, because I know that Victory Road has been doing some tournaments too, but I don't know if it's been Best of 5s. But we did... this is the first... We're going to say it. This is first kind of ass whooping that we've seen on Pokemon Unite tournament. I'm just saying. But TK, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when you bring people in. I definitely want to see... I had the pleasure of fighting Void quite a few times, including last night. I literally
Oh
fought him
God!
and Mango
No,
4
hang on.
freaking times.
You can't be letting TK bring Void in. That ain't fair.
Hey, look, man, he wants to run it. He wants to run it, and honestly, they kind of need it right now. So we'll see what happens.
Either way,
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. And also, I mean, the way that Team Foda and them played, honestly, even with bringing in Void, I think it would still be an incredibly close game.
I definitely would be a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to cast too. I think that is going to do it for us tonight. So, Ajax, why don't you real quick tell the people where they can find you if they so desire.
100%. If you guys would like to find me, go ahead and check me out on everything that is Ajax_HQ. You'll see, if you ever see the name Ajax just by itself, I somehow sniped that in Pokemon Unite. That's me. You can check me streaming this game pretty much at all hours of the night, and also just check me out on Twitter for Smash Ultimate tournaments, FGC events, and such, where I get to chill occasionally with my boy here, Last. Last, where can everybody find you?
My name is Last. I do a lot of Smash. I do a lot of Brawlhalla production, and I do a lot of Valorant. If you want to check me out on any of that stuff, you can find me on Twitter at L4ST_V1. In Pokemon Unite, I also managed to snipe at L4ST. So I got very, very lucky. But if you want to drop me a follow, that would be much appreciated. We'll probably be running this back sometime next week too, so make sure you keep an eye on the Bagel Production social. But without further ado, thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll bid you a good night.
See you next week.